You may now begin your presentation.
In 1803, Nathaniel Rochester recognized the resources of the Genesee River and purchased the land.
Harnessing the power of the falls, businesses became increasingly abundant, and Rochester, New York was born.
With all the creative genius that flowed through the land, the natives of Rochester, New York decided to make the city a near utopia as they gathered together, brainstormed revolutionary ideas, and began to create baking flour.
That's right. We're rolling in the dough.
Earning the nickname Flour City, Rochester also gave birth to companies such as Kodak, Xerox, and Paychex, creating significant technological advances.
Unfortunately, upon a strong business foundation, there lies today a broken city.
Poverty is over twice the national average.
Rochester is the 5th poorest city in the country.
Well over 160,000 people don't make enough money to feed themselves or their families.
Only 4% of high school students in Rochester go to college.
The Rochester City School District is the poorest district in New York State and is located only 1.5 miles away from the wealthiest district in New York State.
In recent years, Robert's Enactus has used its resources to complete projects in the city, as well as India, Guatemala, and Uganda.
This year, we decided to shift all our efforts to the broken city we call home.
What could happen if we focused all our resources on students struggling to graduate from high school in a poverty-stricken school district?
What could happen if we spent all of our time to help underemployed refugees reach their earning potential?
What could happen if we used all of our skills and training to enrich local small businesses in the midst of a downturn economy?
Could we make a difference?
Could we make an impact?
Could we change lives?
In the midst of a damaged city, we must ask ourselves, where do we go from here? Chaos or community? Dr. Martin Luther King.
Renee and Tony Colon were coffee lovers who had always dreamed of owning a small business.
Tony, who had grown up a troubled teen, knew that he wanted to one day use his dream of opening a coffee shop to help those in poverty.
6 months after their wedding, Renee suffered a traumatic brain injury in a near-fatal car accident, making their dream seem impossible.
Thankful Renee was alive and they could still work as partners, Tony decided to take a risk. He left his job and bought his own high-end coffee roaster to pursue their dream.
Having invested all their savings in the roaster, they could only afford a small rental space in the heart of the poor neighborhood they wanted to reach most.
When the Colognes first approached our Enactus team, we knew they were great people with a great vision, but their plans were all froth and no substance.
After several discussions, we realized we needed to blend our skills before their business got roasted.
Our assessment showed that we needed to help the Colognes with startup capital, create an online presence for free marketing, as well as work alongside Tony and Renee to develop a business model that would result in the hiring of inner-city teens.
To begin, our team dedicated 4 months to write and perfect their first ever business plan, including pricing, market research, and management practices.
Helping design the coffee shop as well as renovating the inside, the Colognes and our Enactus team began moving inventory into the space in June of 2013. And on August 2nd, a coffee shop was born.
Realizing that over 50% of the world's population is under 30 years of age, we decided to target this demographic through social media and give Fuego an online presence.
We sent 12 of our Enactus team members to online marketing training with MG Loam Advertising.
With this training, our team developed a strategic marketing plan using Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, teaching both Renee and Tony how to use social media to grow their business.
To increase their market reach, we created a website alongside the Colognes. This features special events, blog posts, and customer reviews. Here's a couple customer reviews we thought were pretty awesome.
Fuego is hands down the best coffee house in the entire Rochester metro region.
Tony is a walking encyclopedia of all things coffee and a great guy to talk to. I love coming here.
If I wasn't at risk of a heart attack, I would drink these caffeinated bevs all day and night.
And these aren't just simply reviews. According to studies by Nielsen and Socionomics, 90% of consumers trust peer recommendations, while only 14% trust advertising.
To enhance their online presence, we created and launched a video to give the community a taste of what Fuego was all about.
To help them understand where their money was going, our team completed a break-even analysis to eliminate unnecessary costs.
Practices such as buying bagged ice daily and using a pint-sized refrigerator was costing the cafe a latte.
To increase efficiency, we bought them a full-size refrigerator with an ice maker. This is saving Fuego $100 a month.
Today, Tony is in direct contact with actual coffee bean farmers from sustainable organic farms throughout the world.
From buying the coffee directly from the growers to not wasting milk, Tony's environmentally conscious from start to finish, and that's part of why we love him.
We also advised Tony and Renee to pursue wholesale accounts for their coffee, allowing them to expand their business past their own cafe.
Because of this decision, Fuego's coffee is now being served at Loving Cup Cafe, a coffee shop located at the Rochester Institute of Technology that serves 10,000 people per month.
Through these wholesale accounts, Fuego earns $1,200 for just 2 hours of labor.
Over 1,000 people follow Fuego on social media.
Tony is now in direct trade with 8 farms in 6 different countries.
We are helping them raise $12,000 through a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo.
They have expanded to 10 wholesale accounts, bringing in $4,000 a month.
Starting with no income, Cafe Fuego now makes $5,400 in monthly income and has made over $43,000 in the month since their opening.
With this growth, Fuego has already broken even.
Fuego was able to hire their first paid employee this past January.
Because of his success, Tony began appearing in national competitions and was one of 29 top baristas on the entire East Coast.
We even help them make these frequently caffeinated cards, and I only need one more punch before I get my free cup of coffee, so yeah, I'm pretty excited.
This is Justin. Although he may be smiling here, at the age of 16, he has seen 6 of his friends murdered.
In 7 of the last 10 years, Rochester has had the highest murder rate per capita of any community in the state.
However, violence isn't the only thing affecting our youth.
In the city of Rochester, 46% of children live in poverty, compared to 20% nationally.
Child hunger is 7th in the nation.
1 in 5 girls get pregnant before the age of 15.
The end result of these statistics is a graduation rate of only 42% in the Rochester City School District.
Even worse, the African American male population has a graduation rate of only 4%.
This means that over 18,000 kids in school as we speak will never put on a cap and gown and receive a diploma.
Seeing this need in our own community, we knew we had to find a way to inspire kids to stay in school and show them going to college is possible.
After our SWOT analysis and assessment of our resources, Robert Enactus created Project Elevate.
In the city of Rochester, the reality for teens like Justin is that graduating high school and going on to college can seem outside their reach.
Elevate is a program designed to encourage inner-city teens to stay in school, pursue college, and make an impact in their community.
When conducting our research, we found that 9th graders make up 85% of student dropouts in Rochester.
As a result, we specifically targeted 8th to 10th grade inner-city students.
We brought 29 kids to the best college on earth. Not that we're biased or anything.
Justin and our other elevators were able to room with currently enrolled students, go to classes, eat really bad cafeteria food, and get a feel for what college life is like.
We wanted to place our elevators directly in the path of what seemed impossible. If they couldn't picture themselves in college before this event, they sure can now.
We knew things such as applying to schools, registering for classes, and paying for college are often a matter of intuition.
We taught the students to fill out FAFSA forms, search for scholarships, and apply to schools, things that we may take for granted, but to our elevators was a huge eye-opener.
After learning the tools necessary to get into college, we decided to give the teens a chance to give back to their community.
Splitting up into groups, students sought out social, economic, and environmental needs that affected them personally.
It was at this time that the teens began to realize, wow, something I'm doing could actually impact the people I love.
Our Enactus team funded each group to motivate the students and help get their projects started. Through these projects, students take ownership and learn not just be a victim of the problem, but a part of the solution.
However, we knew providing startup cash wasn't enough. We partnered with a community mentor in the city of Rochester, along with our Enactus students, to help put their projects into action.
Justin's group wanted to motivate kids to stay in school through the use of social media and video.
Today, the motivators are creating videos viewed throughout their school to help kids get excited about their education.
Another group named themselves Straight Educate and created an after-school program to prepare kids for college.
Through helping these kids, we're empowering them to help others.
Following the Elevate weekend, we began tracking our students. Using surveys we created, we found that 95% of students still felt that attending college was possible.
While tracking previous Elevate attendees, 100% had stayed in school, a majority of whom were male, addressing that 4% statistic.
6 are now attending college.
Every student said they would recommend Elevate to a friend.
And I actually believe I can go to college.
Anything's possible if you set your mind to it.
If you believe it, you can make it happen.
The projects the students created are now being implemented across the city with the help of our community mentors and our Enactus leaders.
To reach more inner-city teens, we pitched the vision of Elevate to other Rochester area colleges.
We spent 4 months creating a training manual, equipping other schools to host the event on their campuses.
In 2 weeks, SUNY Brockport and Monroe Community College will be hosting their own Elevate event, tripling our reach.
By scaling our Elevate program, we now have 3 area colleges committed to passing on hope and purpose to teens who need it most.
Pawnee is a refugee from Burma who worked for 13 years as a nurse.
However, for the past 7 months, she's been working as a sandwich maker at Subway.
Coco-san had worked as a foreman for 21 years in Bhutan. Today, he works as a janitor, cleaning toilets.
Just like Coco-san and Pawnee, there are thousands of refugees in the Rochester area with limited job options and unrecognized skills.
Over 60,000 refugees have come to U.S. from Nepal, Bhutan, and Burma since 2008. Several thousand live right in Rochester, New York.
The Rochester Refugee Resettlement Program helps individuals like Pawnee and Coco-san adjust to living in a new country.
They knew they had refugees who were struggling to provide for their families and capable of working higher-paying jobs, but could only find them unskilled labor.
For 6 years, the Rochester Refugee Resettlement Program, or as we like to say, R3, tried multiple career assessments and aptitude tests, but all the current placement tools were not the sharpest in the shed, if you know what I mean. They did not work.
Frustrated that nothing existed that could address their need, R3 came to us, hoping that we could create an effective evaluation system to identify the refugees' abilities.
We began by establishing relationships with local refugees, and actually found a majority of them were afraid to take the career tests. Most of the refugees thought they were either going to lose their jobs, or worse, be deported.
We knew we had to find a non-threatening way to determine what the skills and abilities of the refugees were. Through some informal discussions, we discovered that many had a history in either hospitality or machining, and they're incredible at Monopoly.
Now that we had learned some of their skills, we looked for occupations to fit their experience.
Recognizing that Rochester has numerous opportunities for skilled jobs in machinery, we began speaking with the folks from Monroe Community College. They agreed to create a specialized machining course at their Applied Technology Center.
Over the next 4 weeks, our team created an informal way to assess which refugees would succeed in these classes.
We created 5 stations where the refugees demonstrated different abilities, including math, spoken English, measurement, use of tools, and assembly.
Of the 24 we evaluated, we identified 18 refugees, including Coco-san, who measured up and made the cut.
We called 26 potential employers in the machining industry to find out if they would be open to hiring trained refugees.
Of those we called, 8 businesses were excited about the opportunity and all agreed to hire the refugees after their classes.
With the job secure, Coco-san and 12 other candidates began taking the customized machining classes.
Knowing refugees like Pawnee had worked in the medical field, getting them jobs in nursing seemed like the obvious decision.
Now we needed to find a place that would train the refugees, so we met up with the head honchos at the Rochester Education Opportunities Center.
They said that they would do everything that we asked of them, which is great, but the only post-op complication was getting our candidates ready for the Certified Nursing Assistant entrance exam.
Seeing that this was going to work, we created a second screening that identified Pawnee and 14 other candidates for a Certified Nursing Assistant program at REOC.
Once we had our candidates, we created a nursing curriculum and hosted classes for 6 weeks so they could pass the CNA entrance exam.
With the help of REOC, we were able to secure jobs for all 15 candidates that were qualified through our screening.
Next month, Pawnee and the other refugees will take the CNA entrance exam we had prepared them for.
After their tests come back positive, the refugees will be attending 12 weeks of classes and will be working at the Episcopal Nursing Home as nursing assistants.
Before R3, Coco-san yearly income was $18,000. But after going through our screenings and being offered a new job, his income will more than double, starting at $40,000 a year.
After going through our screening and being enrolled in classes, the self-esteem of Coco-san and Pony have skyrocketed. Not only will they be receiving higher pay, but they'll be working in areas that suit them, and their quality of life will improve.
Pawnee is now stitching her life back together, becoming a certified nursing assistant who will earn $26,000 a year.
In total, we were able to line up jobs for 30 refugees, allowing them to do work they actually enjoy.
Now, the refugees are no longer outsiders in the Rochester community, but see themselves as equals who are using their talents to the fullest.
We formalize both the screening for the machining class and the CNA program so they can be replicated and scaled. Today, the program has spread and will be implemented in the city of Buffalo in the summer of 2014.
In the years to come, we plan to replicate this process to be used across the country to help more refugees like Coco-san and Pawnee find their calling.
Relying on its strong business foundation, Rochester is once again becoming a center for creativity and technological advancement.
By focusing all our efforts on the city we call home, we have taken steps to make Rochester a community of hope.
This year alone, we helped the Cologne start a sustainable business in a struggling economy, raise $12,000 through crowdfunding, hiring their first paid employee, and bringing in over $40,000 since the month of August.
We have broken down social barriers, creating and replicating the Elevate program, keeping Justin and 94 inner city students in school, empowering them to pursue college, and teaching them through their own projects not to be a victim of the problem, but a part of the solution.
We have overcome intercultural challenges, creating and replicating an effective evaluation process to test and connect Coco-san, Pawnee, and 28 other refugees with skill-specific jobs, increasing their income by 90%.
Through our efforts, we are making a difference.
We are making an impact.
We are changing lives.
Thank you, Roberts Wesleyan College. Judges, you may now begin the question and answer period.
On Project Elevate, you referred to a community partner. Who was the partner and what was their specific role in the project?
We actually had several partners for the Elevate project, and what we did is we targeted specific areas with a high dropout rate. So one of the locations that we chose, we used a teacher that we had connections with at the Young Men's Leadership Academy, which is a school for young men who were struggling in school, either had behavioral problems, normally behavioral problems. So that's what we did. We picked partners who were working in areas with students who were not staying in school.
In the Fuego program, can you talk a little bit about the collaboration between you and the business owner on writing the business plan, and how much each group took, leadership?
Yeah, so the business owner, the Clones, they had lots of great ideas for what they wanted to see happen in their business, but they didn't have any practical way of putting that down. So they would come to us and they would tell us all the things they wanted to accomplish, and then we gave them the practical steps to make those dreams a reality.
We sat down with them personally and said, okay, what is a goal you can see yourself? How many wholesale accounts do you think you can have? How many people do you think you can have through this store every day? So by sitting down and working with them, we were able to show them what a business plan actually does, and we were able, it was a give and take. It was 50-50.
Could you describe how crowdfunding worked and how many folks were in that crowd?
So crowdfunding works. We use the Indiegogo website for crowdfunding, and you put up your campaign that you're trying to raise money for, and you have people, and you can offer prizes for people who donate depending on the amounts that they donate. And so far we've had about 40 people who have contributed to the crowdfunding campaign, and you can be part of those people by going to supportfuego.com and by donating there if you'd like.
And there is no limit to people that can be involved, so the limits are endless, so they can raise more money than they need to.
When you worked with the refugees, did you encounter any language issues, and how did you overcome that?
Language barrier was a huge issue. In fact, that was the main reason that they were so afraid to take those career tests before that they had taken for the past 6 years. They would get very nervous because that is a huge language barrier. They're coming as refugees fleeing from their war-torn countries. So a way that we found that we could approach that issue is we set up like a carnival for the tests that we wanted, the workshops, the stations, and we would have someone sit at the table and carry on a conversation with them, and they would document exactly how well they think their English is and how, like, make a standard as to what they think. And another way that we're overcoming that barrier is we have a translator in all the classes they are taking.
You mentioned the Colognes and one other group approached you. How did they know to approach you?
Over the last, I think our Enactus team is about 12 years old, so we've established a reputation in the Rochester community for getting things done. We were approached by them because they had the passion to open a coffee shop. They really wanted to get it done, but they knew that we would be able to provide the kind of business insights that they really needed.
We actually have a program now called Restore. Fuego is under that project, and that offers social media consulting. So it's becoming more and more known that we want to help people, we want to help businesses specifically, grow their social media presence and implement that business plan. So we are actually having more and more companies or small businesses come to us and say, hey, can you help us? Can you do what you did for Fuego?
And we're looking for another client, so you guys, I'm sure somebody needs social media done. We'll do it for you.
So what type of future projects are you thinking of in Rochester?
So right now we have a 5-year plan that is specifically targeting those areas that we already have projects in. We want to be able to replicate them. As you've kind of noticed, most of our projects are replicable, and we want to be able to see those spread throughout Rochester, and especially in kind of the iron rust belt cities that we're a part of that have been really hard hit by economic issues in the past few years. So we see ourselves digging deeper into those particular projects and not necessarily expanding into any new ones at this moment.
Some specific goals we would like to reach in those 5 years, like Keisha was mentioning, we would like 1,000 students to be going through the Elevate program. We believe that is a very achievable goal.
The question and answer time has expired. Judges, join me in thanking the Roberts Wesleyan College Enactus team.